Hello everyone, I'm happy to be back with another devlog for Farlanders. It took us a little more time than I planned to prepare this update, but if you followed the development earlier you should know that this is not the first time it happens. But anyway, hopefully you will see that the delay was for the better, because I have some exciting news to share with you. So earlier you were able to expand your colony only on the surface. And some of you suggested what if we could build tunnels underground, so that we connect distant parts of the colony without the need to destroy mountains. And guess what? Now you can do it. And even more, you can expand your colony as well. Also, there are a lot of resources, anomalies or other useful stuff underground. And you can grow mushrooms underground as well. Only for the health benefits, you know. Now let's take a closer look how it works in practice. At the beginning of the game we start on the surface and have no idea what's going on underground. In this case we have two passages that works as an entry point to the lower levels. Now we can build an elevator, and now our colony is connected to the lower level. To expand our caves network we can use explosives. You can notice that we can't apply any terraforms on undiscovered area. And we can keep doing like this in the hope that we will find another room. Let's see if I'm lucky today. As always. And you can keep expanding your caves network until you find another passage to the even deeper level. And it makes sense to expand your colony deeper and deeper, because usually the most valuable stuff is hidden at the deepest levels. But it's not very smart to just go blindly and keep randomly exploding walls in the hope that you will find another room or resource that you need. At the end, knowledge is power, and to get this knowledge you can build a scanner or a radar, I'm not sure about the name for this building, and just wait for some time and let it do its job and scan the terrain around. Let's wait for one more turn. You can see that over here there's probably another room. Let's wait one more turn. Okay, so you can see that scanners don't give us the full info about the stuff that's on the other side from the wall, but instead it highlights so-called points of interest. You can see that over here there's 6 tiles with solid floor and 1 tile with some hidden resource. So let's use explosives and see what is hidden in this room. Okay, so you can see that there was an ice on the tile. Also you can use scanners on the surface, and with its help you can find hidden anomalies or even a hidden passage to the lower level. Now let's talk about types of terrain that you can find underground. The most common ones are floor and wall. They also have a solid version which you can't explode. Floor and walls work similarly to how regular ground and mountains work on the surface, but with some differences. For example, if you decide to destroy walls underground, you will have floor directly with no intermediate state. By this I mean wastelands, which you will get if you decide to explode mountains on the surface, like this. And the same principle applies if you will decide to terraform canyons in the ground. You will have floor directly. Another terrain that I want to talk about is stalactite. It works similarly to the wasteland, By this I mean that you can't really build anything on stalactite except for some basic communications, but there are some differences as always. In some cases it might be useful, I'll talk about it later. So if you decide to create a stalactite, you can use a rare skull terraform. Let me find a good one. Okay, this should work. And with this terraform you can create a stalactite, but that's not easy, so think twice if you decide to clear it. And of course you can find resources underground. But what I didn't say is that we have added two new types of resources to the game. The first one is silicon, which is used for glass production, and the second one is rare metals, which is used for electronic components production. Both of these resources, glass and electronics, are used for buildings construction as addition to existing mineral resource. So for example, if you decide to build some late game building, for example, let's take underground house, it requires everything starting from minerals and ending with components. Another change that was made to the mineable resources is that they're no longer infinite. If you click on a mineral deposit or any other deposit, you can see that it has a limited mining half cycles, and this mineral deposit is really small. It has only 30 cycles, half cycles, which means it will be wasted in 15 turns. For example, this silicon deposit is much bigger, it has 90 half cycles. But we can fix it if we use terraforming. We can apply it on existing deposit and increase its size. Now it has 60 half cycles instead of 30. Also, there are a few buildings that were added specifically for an underground part of the colony. But it's even harder to build in caves than it is on surface. Not only because of the price, but it's also because of the amount of free space, because every heavy building that you want to construct has to be built on a solid floor, and there is not that much of the solid floor on most of the levels. But anyway, let's talk about those buildings that I didn't mention yet. You can grow plants, grow food underground, but to do so you need to build a fertilizer on a water source, and then you can build hydroponic farms nearby, which now produce food. Also, I mentioned that in some cases stalactites might be useful, and you can use them to construct lanterns, which should brighten the mood for those unlucky people who have to live in caves. And also, stalactites are useful for growing fungi, because they receive a bonus from each stalactite nearby. Okay, I think I covered the most of the content that is related to the caves, but there are a few other quite significant changes that we did that I want to talk about. And one of such things is Magistral connections. I wanted to do something with connections for some time. I wanted to make it deeper, and what we did is, in addition to existing power lines, there is a strong power line. You can see it with the green color, and the same for water pipes. There is a regular water pipe and a strong water pipe. You can upgrade a regular network to a strong. And why we need it is because some of the buildings that consume or produce a lot of water or electricity might require such communications. For example, if we want to build a water pump which produces a lot of water, it will require a regular power line with white color and a strong water pipe with green color, which is obviously more expensive than a regular one. In order to make caves exploration fun and exciting, we had to rework level generator completely from scratch, because the old one just wasn't good enough. It was too random and wasn't customizable enough. And with the new one we can do a lot of interesting things that are very important in terms of game design. For example, you can see that on each of the levels we have those separate rooms. There is always a guarantee that you can get to the exit of the level from each of the rooms with the help of terraforming. Also, you can see that resources are evenly spread across the rooms on the level, which is very important. And you might also notice that solid floors are closely tied to each other, and this is important for building living districts underground, because as you can remember, you can't build a house on a regular floor, you need a solid floor for it. All of these changes also affected surface generation. You might not notice it at the first glance, but if you look closer you can see that there are also some kind of rooms that are separated from each other with mountains and canyons. And overall, mountains and canyons are looking more realistically. They're like creating mountain ranges and so on. There are a few smaller and less exciting changes that were made, but they are still quite significant for the gameplay. For example, you can buy terraforming patterns using the same interface that was made for colonist migration and trading system. Also, technology system was reworked a little bit. In short, now you can accumulate technology points and spend them at any time you want. Also, there are of course other changes that I just don't want to cover to make this devlog shorter. Overall, I'm very happy with what we have achieved so far. Most of the content that was planned for the game is done. Now we can slowly move into the beta phase and start polishing what we have so far to make it work just great with each other. I mean, every mechanic to work with each other. Thank you for watching. As always, you can subscribe to my YouTube channel, follow me on Twitter, or join our Discord to talk with other players. Thank you for watching again. Bye bye.